Welcome you in the third segment of the third lecture, and we'll start a new topic. The second essential element of a contract, if you remember, that the parties to the contract must be contractually capable. We call it contractual capacity of the parties in a contract. Who are the parties will be called as capable of entering into a contract. Now, in terms of the contractual capacity, you will see in my precise note for you that there are two disqualifications. One, disqualification of infancy. The other one is disqualification of insanity. One relates to the age problem. The other one relates to the mental faculty. Now, disqualification of infancy. And there, if you refer to my precise notes, two sections are very important. Section 11 of the Contract Act 1872 and Section 3 of the Majority Act. Now, we have to relate these two sections. First of all, Section 11 of the Contract Act. Section 11 said that every person is competent to contract who has attained the age of majority. That means only the major can make a contract, but not saying who is a major. Is it that he has beard or that he has a good mustache or something like that? So who will be considered as a major? It was not explained. It was not there in Section 11 of the Contract Act. And that is the reason for which we will have to refer to Section 3 of the Majority Act. Section 3 of the Majority Act prescribes that anybody, whether male or female, when he or she attains the age of 18 years, he will be considered as a major in the eye of law. It further says, if that boy or girl, male or female, if he loses the father before becoming 18, then he will be or she will be a major when she attains the age of 21 years. So 18 years generally for majority age, but if you lose your father before 18, then you will become a major after 3 more years, that is 21 years. So for making a contract or entering into a contract, you must be a major in the eye of law. If you are not major in the eye of law, you cannot make a contract. So that is something which is very important for us to remember. Now, so if a contract is made where one of the party is a minor, the contract will be void because minors contracts are void. The famous case here is Mohri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh. In 1903, it was decided that a contract made by a minor is void. In that case, what happened? In short, Dharmodas Ghosh was a young person who mortgaged his home estate, his residence, to one person called Mohri Bibi. She was a money lender. On those days, there was no bank or something like that. The money lender into give you loan for mortgage and everything. And Dharmodas Ghosh was supposed to return it back within 10 years. But for some reason, he could not pay the money back. So eventually, Mohri Bibi went to the court to declare that a contract that he could not perform the obligations under the mortgage. So there is a foreclose. I will take the house of Dharmodas Ghosh. In that case, at that time, Dharmodas has already become a major. He is 19 years or something or 20 years. The lawyer of Dharmodas Ghosh has given a fantastic argument saying that if you read Section 10 of the Contract Act 1872, read along with the Section 3 of the Majority Act, so in British India, a minor cannot make a contract. And even if he makes a contract, the law will not consider it as a contract. So my client Dharmodas Ghosh, even he entered into a mortgage and borrowed the money, that mortgage contract cannot be said as a contract in the eye of law. So there was no mortgage. If there was no mortgage, no money is due, and my client is not supposed to pay the money. They cannot take the house because the very contract was a void contract made 10 years back or 11 years back. And the lower court accepted this argument of the lawyer of Dharmodas Ghosh. But then again, this is a remarkable judgment. He borrowed the money. There was a registered mortgage and everything. Now the court is saying that the contract is not there in the eye of law. And the money lender, Mohri Bibi, is also a very rich lady with a lot of money. So she preferred an appeal in the Calcutta High Court. In those days, there was a High Court in Calcutta. Calcutta at that time was the capital of India, in British India. And he appointed big lawyers, barristers and others, because she has the resources. There, the lawyer for Mohri Bibi convinced the court and said that if this is allowed, in that case you are allowing a minor to take the advantage of his own fraud. He took the money for mortgage, promised to pay it back within 10 years. Then again, now he is coming before the court and said, at that time I was too young to understand all those things. So this cannot be done. Justice doesn't want this. You are allowing a minor to take advantage of his own fraud. This is not legal, Your Worship. Somehow the Calcutta High Court became confused and they reversed the judgment. So now the degree went in favor of Mohri Bibi. Dharmodas Ghosh lost the case. But then, by this time, lot of water has gone through the river Buriganga. Dharmodas has already grown up, and there was lot of interest grown within the legal community in British India. Whether can a minor be a party to a contract? Lot of interested persons, academia, jurists become involved. So it went to the highest court. In Bangladesh, the highest court is now the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. Many of you know. But at that time, the highest court was known as Privy Council. 5 judges used to sit, 5 judges. All of them are British. And that is the highest court indeed in British India. And it was there in the Privy Council, and it was fought like anything. Dharmodas Ghosh also brought some good lawyers. After listening to them for 3-4 days, the Privy Council again opined in favor of the lower court. They say the High Court of Calcutta is wrong, and they accepted the definition. And they say that since, if you read Section 11 of the Contract Act, along with Section 3 of the Majority Act, it is in black and white. And that is our law. What is the common law of England? That argument will not come here. Our law is based on the English common law, but we have a written law, Contract Act 1872. And if you explain it, the decision of the lower court is correct. So in 1903, the Privy Council has finally declared a contract by minor is void. A minor cannot make a contract. Even he makes a contract that is void ab initio, means from the very beginning. When the contract was made 11 years back for the mortgage, the parties thought there is a contract. But in reality, in the eye of law, there was no contract. That is a void contract. And if it is a void contract, then there is no effect of it in law. So that is important about the disqualification of infancy is concerned. This is something that you must keep in mind. And this refers to the Partnership Act as well as the Section 83 of the Contract Act, then Section 30 of the Partnership Act. They also resembles the same thing. They say the same thing. So this is one disqualification. Second disqualification regarding the competency of the parties is insanity. That means both the parties must be sane. I mean, not necessarily that they should not be mad, but there may be a person who is not sane. Looks like everything physically good and everything, but then again, few months of the year, we cannot call them really sane. Although he's 25 or 30 years of age, at that time he behaves as if he's a very young child, play with a dinghy car, or she plays with a Barbie doll or something like that. That means his or her mental age is less than that. So it is very important that presence of insanity, there will be no contract. He must be sane. He must be capable of understanding that what he's going to enter into in the contract. What are the rights and liabilities going to incur under the contract? And the law says when one of the party is not a sane person, he cannot make a contract. But in this context, it is important for us to remember that if the situation is such that one of the party remains sane for few months of every year, this period is known as a lucid period. Normally, he's not really sane. But for sometimes, say in the winter, 3-4 months, he remains sane. And if you enter into a contract during the lucid period, then that is a good contract. All that is important is that at the time of making contract, he is understandable. He could understand his liabilities and everything. So lucid period you must keep in mind. So generally, insanity is a bar for contract. But then again, lucid period, an insane person can make a contract. Last come apart from these two disqualification, infancy and insanity, there are other disqualifications. For example, an alien. An alien. An alien is a person who lives in Bangladesh, a citizen of some other countries like Korea, India, Pakistan, or whatever may be. He's an alien. There is nothing wrong to make a contract with the alien. But if this war is there between the country of that particular person, like if there is a war going on with Pakistan, with Bangladesh, the Pakistani citizen living in Bangladesh cannot enter into a contract. He will be considered as an enemy alien. We can also see that the barristers in England cannot sue for their fees. The surgeon in England cannot sue for their fees because they don't have the legal capacity. Like the sovereigns, the officials of the sovereign of outside countries, like other embassies and other in Bangladesh, if they want to live here, they are not amenable to the law of the Bangladesh. If they want to enter into a contract, they must have take a permission from the Home Ministry because they are guided by the other law. So that is something that you must keep in mind. So these are other disqualifications that we must keep in mind. And corporations have also certain limitations. You know what is corporation? You know, you have done Bus Law 101. Corporation or company, they need to register a document called Memorandum of Association. In the Memorandum of Association, one of the basic important is that there must be an explanation for which purpose the corporation is created, the object of the company or the corporation. So the company cannot go beyond that object. If it goes beyond that object, then that contract is not there. So when it is a contract by an artificial person, they must be within the artificial person's jurisdiction. Otherwise, even if there is a contract, the contract will be void in the eye of law. So these are the contractual incapacity in terms of disqualification of infancy, disqualification of insanity, and other disqualifications which are there that I have discussed. So this is a very important topic, especially the managed contract is void. The Mori Vivasa Dharmodash Ghosh, very interesting case. I would ask you to go to the library if possible, or in online, read the case, Mori Vivasa Dharmodash Ghosh. Very important topic. So go through it.